Well, this is an unexpected twist in the feud between President Trump and the mainstream media. The New York Times is replacing its opinion page today with letters from Trump voters. The paper says the decision was made in the spirit of, quote, open debate. Well, here's what one supporter wrote. Donald Trump has succeeded where Barack Obama failed. The economy is up. Foreign tyrants are afraid. ISIS has lost most of its territory. Our embassy will be moved to Jerusalem, and tax reform is accomplished. Another supporter, I voted for Donald Trump, and considering the alternative, I would do so again. Newsflash, not all Trump voters are Hillary Clinton's deplorables. Joining me now is Katrina Pearson, former spokesperson for Trump's presidential campaign. Katrina, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you.
Great to be here, Harris.
Talk to me about the shift with the New York Times. I mean, this seems warm and fuzzy. What is it?
Well, I wouldn't say that one day out of 365 really offers a diversity of opinion for the Times. However, what I think this is the Times' attempt to actually publish all of this administration's magnificent accomplishments without actually having to do so. So instead, they bring on Trump supporters to do it for them.
Oh, that's sneaky. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Does this show more openness, though, of the New York Times and maybe realizing that you do need all points of view in order to make any arguments at all?
Well, I do think that they have learned themselves who their readers are and how they truly feel. And this is definitely a diversion from what the Times is used to, considering how these individuals are very bold and courageous to put their names to their opinions, which is something that the Times is not used to. They prefer sources that want to remain anonymous. So I do think there's a shift, and I hope this did work out for them. When you have individuals like Philip Mayman, who is in Greenwich, who touted his credentials to prove that Trump supporters are well educated and informed. One of my personal favorites was Ellen Meckler. This woman was from New Haven. She was a Democrat for 40 years and was unapologetically supportive of Mr. Trump and all of his accomplishments, and it was exactly what I was hearing all across the campaign trail.
So it does pierce the bubble, if you will, the narrative of Trump supporters that some on the left have tried to press, and that is that, you know, you heard Hillary Clinton calling them deplorables, the name calling that, so on and so forth, because it does give a voice and a face, if you will, through the newspaper of what people are really like. How do you think that is important? I read, by the way, 90% of the coverage of this particular president has been negative. So now you have voices separate from any of that coverage speaking out.
Well, you absolutely do. And I think that these stories that are in some of these op-eds are very important. Another one that was mentioned was an immigrant who had voted Democrat for 60 years and praised this president on sanctuary cities, and she gave her reasons. And I think that's really important for a lot of the Times readers to read, because a lot of times people get stuck in their own little bubble, not realizing the realities that are occurring outside of them. Perhaps you live in the North, and now you get to see what someone goes through that lives in a border town. These things are very important and very real, and I think the Times should take note of this and do more of this more often.
You know, I will concede the fact, because I was going to tick down and you see the positive language for the president, but there's some substance there. You're talking about people giving some resume points and all of that. Connection points for all Americans, if you will, a more level playing field in terms of experience, which I found interesting myself just in terms of reading them. Katrina Pearson, great to have you on the program.
Great to be
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.